Everyone. We're going to have our next panel in the second day of the second week of COP27 with the Federal Court of Audits and also ABRAMPA, the Brazilian Association of the Public Prosecution and Environment. I'd like to call Vital do Rêgo, our justice, to start this panel. Good afternoon, everyone. Please, this is a result of the Congress before I took over the Court of Accounts. I was used to be standing instead of sitting. I am a member of the Federal Court of Accounts, and I'm going to bring you our story. It's a topic that since ECHO 92 in Rio de Janeiro, we have monitored annually, and the Federal Court of Accounts, we have the responsibility of taking care with the several tools that we call audits. We take care of every cent that is spent in Brazil. And this authority makes us committed with so many important causes in Brazil and the world. And the climate change that we are dealing here at this moment, they are part of this new model in this huge environment of debate in the world. So initially, I'd like to congratulate the governors who are member of the Legal Amazon Consortium, and I'd like to greet Governor Elder Barbalho. I especially appreciate this young governor, and on his behalf, I'd like to greet all the governors comprising this Legal Amazon Consortium. You organizers, I'd like to congratulate you because I've been talking to people from all the world, especially NGOs, support foundations, funds, and I found a huge repercussion of the work that has been developed by the consortium, by the Legal Amazon Consortium. We are showing the world what Brazil needs to do in this field. And then we have another factor. I am concerned about environmental issues because I am a son of the field. I was born in the field, and I was born in the countryside. And when in the past you wanted to know when it was going to rain, you didn't ask the Meteorological Institute about the information. You would ask the foreman, when is it going to rain so I can plant corn? And he answered, It's going uh, to rain on March 19, the day of Saint Joseph, because on the day of Saint John, on June 24, you have the harvest of the corn. And that was the reality. At that time, 30, 40 years ago, we had a different world. The climate was different. We had no disaster, not with the frequency that we have today. So we are not talking about how to incorporate to the climate change. What is the role of the control institutions? What can they do to validate data that I've watched some of the discourses. You're talking about uh, reliable data, reliable methodologies. What we are going to bring to this discussion is really something I'm proud to present. It's a revolution in the control of the climate change, not only in the States, not only in Brazil, but in the world. We have an organization, an international organization, an entity that is aggregating all the control bodies in the world that is called InfoSci, that is gathering 196 countries. We have 196 countries as part of this entity. Only, the UN only has 193 countries, so every 3 years we have a Congress and we have the change of the INCONSAI presidency. So every 3 years, a president is going to be the maximum director of INCOSAI. This year, we had the Congress in Rio de Janeiro. It happened last year, and Brazil must preside uh, with the president of my court, that is called Bruno Dantas. And to honor not to Brazil, not Brazil, but the world, we are going to launch the greatest project of audit, environmental audit that we have news about, that is called Climate Scanner. Is a project that will give the diagnosis about this issue. So what do we need? We must create this single methodology that is proper for the state of Mato Grosso, Amapá, Paraíba, for the country of East Timor and also and Costa Rica, so that we can analyze the climate change, the sanitary changes. We had a disaster with the pandemic, the changes that the world is facing, changes that are impacting the economy and infrastructure. So this climate scanner is an instrument which is key for us to have an easy language to receive information about our city, our state, and our country. This project will be developed this year. We are having the diagnosis this year. In the next year, we are going to create a single technology in the entire world. So the auditor data will be the same as in Brazil, in the entire world. And from this modeling, we are going to evolve. I'd like to greet Governor Helder Barbalho. I'd like to salute you and I congratulate you for your initiative with your colleagues concerning this event that has a great impact in the world structure. So we are going to develop the climate scanner program that will be consolidated in 2023, and in 2024 we are going to present it. It's a program that is giving continuity to the coordinated audits that we have in the entire world in in different protected areas. We've had that in Brazil, in the world, with Olacef, with the presidency of Augusto Nafi, a colleague that was the president of the regional organization in Latin America. And now we are going to take this audit of protected areas to the African and East Timor regions. So that's the initial data. We're going to have a space for question. If you have doubts about this project, it's a project that has been supported by international entities. We have many foundations supporting the project. We are going to take it to the UN and we are going to bring to you and the year of 2024, the results of this work. Thank you so much. I'd like to give the floor to Adriano so he can speak about climate scanner and its technicalities. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adriano Juras. I am an auditor from the Federal Court of Accounts. I came with Vital do Rêgo to COP27. I'm going to show you a video right now. Thank you. This project, as it was mentioned, We are designing the project this year of 2022 so that next year we can design the tool.
Global warming is a reality. If nothing is done,
O aquecimento global é uma realidade. Se nada for feito até o final do século XXI, a temperatura da Terra vai ser 3 graus Celsius mais alta do que no tempo da Revolução Industrial, limitando o aquecimento a 1,5 graus Celsius, como definido no Acordo de Paris, é um
to turning goals into concrete actions. Climate Scanner is born with this purpose: a tool for quick assessment that will enable integrated action between countries and provide support for decision making. National climate data will enable the assessment of each government's actions individually. The global panorama, on the other hand, will bring a picture of the world and may guide future work. The tool will also enable assessments in 3 axes: governance, financing, and public policies. In 2 years, a portrait of the climate situation around the world. Climate Scanner is an initiative to be developed by many hands. The proposal is part of the work plan of the Intosai Group on Environmental Auditing, the WGEA, and depends on everyone's collaboration. Climate Scanner, the global voice of supreme audit institutions on the climate issue.
Puder colocar a próxima apresentação. Esse é um vídeo que a gente preparou, a gente lançou na semana passada.
This is a video we prepared. It was launched at INCOSAI in Rio de Janeiro and the International Congress of the Audit Institutions in the World, and now our Federal Court of Account president is the president for 4 years. So this is the Climate Scanner tool. What is the main challenge that each country and region and each biome is facing? Well, certainly we have different challenges for each region. We have new deserts, we have agricultural changes, and we have water change, biodiversity. We have huge and different challenges in different regions of the world. That's why UNFCCC, that is the Climate Convention framework for the UN, asks for this global nature in climate change, asking for the greatest possible cooperation and an international response. This is the main topic of discussion at COP27. And the role of governments and undeniable in this agenda with public policies and the investments of public resources as the main axis driving this agenda. And what is the role of the control institutions, the higher control institutions such as the TCU, is to evaluate in an independent way the governmental actions. So the Court of Accounts and the audit or the audit's account or audit court is able to supervise that with technical authority about the application of resources with reliable data, impartial data that can be used by other institutions from civil society, promoting transparency and the resource application and execution of public policies, and empowering the government institutions, the control institutions such as the public prosecution and civil society as well, to use this data and the results from the audits and their agendas. And what is the contribution for of the higher control institutions for climate change? We have three axes of assessment: governance, financing, and public policies, at two levels, at the international level and national level. At the national level, the proposal is to elaborate quick evaluations on climate change and the policies of the government, elaborating insights for future works of the control institutions and support decision-making. And in the national case, the proposal is to elaborate communication products such as this one, concerning the national context and the results of the evaluation in a standardized way. All the countries participating in this initiative might be seen in the map. At the international level, we are going to consolidate data to have this global overview, to have supranational analysis, and also concerning the international flow of funding, elaborating the main strengths and challenges concerning the climate change in the planet. And the idea is that climate scanner will enable us to identify challenges and strengths in the global climate actions concerning the SDG 13 of the Agenda 2030, and the main impacts include independent evaluations from different countries and relevant information and communication which is simple. As the justice mentioned, sometimes we use the audit language, and the idea is to produce communication products that the entire society can use. We have exchange of knowledge and experience between the control institutions and input for the decision making on the climate agenda, promoting more transparency and accountability, and promoting changes through the independent evaluations by the audit courts. And how are we going to do that? The climate scan tool was launched in the last INCOSAI that happened last week in Rio de Janeiro. We are also presenting at COP27 to provide more visibility to this project, and with several international agencies which are present here. As the Justice has mentioned, the work plan is to launch this year and design this year. Next year, we are going to develop the tool with pilot tests, and in 2024, we are going to enforce it in the entire world. It's an executive group. It's going to be constituted by auditors and experts, and from the next year on. More information can be found in the website that you may access at the QR code, and I'm also available for doubts and information. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel Martini. I'm a member of the Public Prosecution of the State of Rio Grande do Sul, Governor Helder, and I'm a member of Abrampa. I am the director of Abrampa, the Brazilian Association of the Members of the Public Prosecution of the Environment. I would like to greet the members of the Court of Auditors, as well as the Court of Auditors and the members of the state authorities. We have a key role in the control of the deforestation, and the protection of the democratic regime and the social and the individual responsibilities in the environmental protection. We had an important task in the defense of the environment. In 1997, Abrampa was created, the Brazilian Association of the members of the Environmental Prosecution Office. The Federal Prosecution Office, the prosecution of the states, establishing common strategies and best practices. Abrampa is a civil association, a civil non-corporate association, non-for-profit, that replicates best practices, then elaborates essential projects like the project Abrampa for Climate, Abrampa in Focus, Alerta na Matopiba, with a strong expansion of the agricultural activities, Project Libertas in the protection of animals, fighting animal trafficking. We are developing as well 2 other projects of adaptation and mitigation of areas of risk. We have here the director of the environmental body of the state of Rio Grande do Sul. The city is undergoing climate change. Here, the prosecution of the state of Rio Grande, the prosecutor of the state of Rio Grande do Sul is here speaking at the Amazon hub, because we understand that the climate change produces effects not only in the Amazon, not only in Brazil, but all over the world. This is a topic that is interesting to everyone. Besides, we put together a project to monitor the setbacks in matters of legislation, environmental legislation. For example, the environmental legislation that may cause a huge setback in environmental legislation. So we need to be very attentive to that. If you allow me, I would like to briefly talk about the project Abrampa for Climate, that includes the public prosecution in climate litigation. The public prosecution and Abrampa specifically, as an association of the civil society that has worked as amicus curiae in important actions in the Supreme Federal Court, providing subsidies for the public prosecution itself. In this project called Abrampa for Climate, we are talking proactively and collaborating and assisting the bodies of the executive power, suggesting and recommending to the environmental bodies all over Brazil. This is a very relevant work in environmental actions, especially those that depend on environmental studies, the climate variables. We need to take into account the climate issue in environmental licenses. do alteration in projects, mitigations, and compensations in projects in environmental licensing to include climate variables. In the same project, we are working with Atlantic rainforest mapping private properties where we have the Atlantic rainforest biomes in the 17 states of the Federation that contains the Atlantic rainforest biome. And our work will carry out a close follow-up of these areas. These are private properties that we will follow up with the conservation units. Today we have tools and we promote legal security with the environmental bodies to produce, for example, remote supervisions. The Brazilian law determines to the public bodies that they should carry out legal security, and Abrampa elaborates technical notes. We can provide more legal security so that the environmental secretaries, so that the environmental bodies, so that the agricultural secretaries can have a proper work, and so that the private entrepreneurs can have security to do their businesses. And we also have the project Amazon in Focus, where we have a BI platform. We have several data available, like this wonderful project that is carried out by the Court of Auditors in Brazil. We have the Maps Alerta, where we have alerts in real time. We have a BI platform to monitor all of those alerts. And that is the way that the Public Prosecution's Office can prepare for the damage. We have an X-ray of criminal offenses in the Amazon, especially when it comes to organized crime. This project is now under expansion to include strategies to fight against the illegal mining, deforestation, and forest fire. These are four areas where the Amazon has been attacked in the last few years. We also have the project Alerta Matopiba, specifically focused on the area of agricultural expansion. Abrampa has been working with the help of partners. We have provided diagnosis of deforestation, especially prevention to deforestation. We have provided technical and legal reports, especially with the elaboration of reports, with technical reports. In small municipalities in the countryside of the state of Pará, prosecutors have to work fighting crimes in family matters and also in the environment. So Abrampa has the scope of qualifying the members of the Public Prosecution's Office, supporting the whole support and structure to protect all Brazilian biomes, especially the Amazon biome. The Brazilian Prosecution's Office and the Abrampa is at the disposal of the government and at the disposal of the consortium. And we have the most appropriate solutions. We are at your disposal for the collaboration, and we're here to find joint solution for the problems that are attacking the Amazon. Thank you very much for your attention. These are a few examples of the cooperation between the Public Prosecution's Office and the Court of Auditors. We have some controls, not only punitive controls, but cooperations for the public managers so that we can have more security and so that we can execute the public policies in a safer way and in a more efficient way so we can better serve the society. We are at your disposal for any questions, questions from the experts, questions from the secretaries. We're going to spend the next few months working on this project. And if you have any contributions for the methodological fine-tuning of the data that we're going to collect, that will be very important. Thank you very much, Governor Elde, for the invitation, for the contribution, and for the partnership that you have with the Federal Court of Auditor. And I would like to congratulate all of the organizers of the event. Thank you very much. This is the project, Governor.